when my alpha mate Xander wanted to bring Sadie, the pregnant widow of his best friend, into our home, I let him. I even went before our pack elders myself and filled to sever our fated mate bond. I set him free to honor his guilt and devotion he felt for her. I did it all because in my past life, blinded by jealousy, I had coldly refused his request. That refusal led to tragedy. Sadie left our territory alone, miscarried on the road, and was left barren, never able to bear a cub again. And he blamed me for all of it. So when I was the one dying, bleeding out on the birthing bed and begging him to save me, he showed me the depths of his hatred. He coldly pulled the pack healers from my room, leaving my cub and me to die in the pool of our own blood. I can still hear his icy words. Sadie lost her cub because of you. Now, you pay the price of your cruelty. So this time I stepped aside. I let him keep his promise to the woman he cherished, and I gave him the bone-deep hatred for me that he clearly craved. But I never imagined what would happen when I was finally, truly gone from his life. My still trembled as I filed the petition to sever our mate bond. The full moon is in 7 days. The ritual will be complete then. The council's scribe looked at me, his face a cold mask. Regina, are you sure you want to sever your fated bond with Alpha Xavier? He asked. I'm sure, I said. My voice was surprisingly calm. Walking out of the council hall, the setting sun stabbed at my eyes. 7 days. In 7 days I'd be free from this damned chain. I pushed open the door to our manor. The scene in the living room instantly made me freeze. Sadie was lounging on our leather sofa, a hand resting gently on her swollen belly. And Xander walked out of the kitchen holding a steaming bowl of herbal soup. Drink it slowly, it's hot. His voice was so gentle, a gentleness he used to show me. Before his best friend Ryan died, Xander's world revolved around me. But his promise to look after Ryan's widowed mate, Sadie, became an obsession. His attention shifted. His nights grew longer. Then one evening, he came to me, reeking of alcohol and another omega scent. He confessed he'd been drugged at a rival's meeting, that he'd made a terrible mistake. Then came the news that shattered our world. Sadie was pregnant, and the pup, he confessed with shame, was his. Now the gentleness was all for Sadie. My wolf began to whine. The bloody image from my past life flashed in my mind. Me on that cold birthing bed, screaming for him to send a healer. It's your fault Sadie lost her pup. You'll pay for your cold heart, he had said. A sharp pain shot through my heart, like it was trying to claw its way out of my chest. Regina? Xander's face stiffened the moment he saw me. He put down the bowl, looking like he wanted to say something. But before he could speak, Sadie suddenly curled up, letting out a pained groan. Ah, it hurts, my wolf. She's getting restless because of the pup. Her performance was as flawless as ever. I'd seen it a million times in my past life. Sadie. Xander reacted faster than I expected. He rushed to her side, shoving past me so hard I stumbled. He didn't even look back. Hang on, I'm taking you to the infirmary, he said, his voice thick with panic as he carefully lifted Sadie into his arms. Xander, I'm sorry. Scared? I'm scared I'll lose this baby. Sadie leaned weakly against his chest, squeezing out a few tears from her eyes. You won't. I won't let anything happen to you or our child, Xander said. Watching them leave, a bitter smile touched my lips. Same word, same promise. I'll explain later. That was all he said to me. A bitter laugh escaped me. What was there to explain? How his promises never included me. I turned and went upstairs, heading straight for my chambers. Fate gave me a second chance. This time, I would be the one to end it. I opened the door to my walk-in closet. 3 massive wardrobes stared back at me. Limited edition bags, designer gowns, diamond necklaces, and the wall covered in our photos. Our first meeting, our first kiss, the mating ceremony. Every picture was a memory of a happiness I thought was real. I started packing, one piece at a time. The jewelry went back into its boxes, the clothes neatly folded, the photos ripped from the wall. The moonstone jewelry he gave me for every mating anniversary filled 3 whole jewelry boxes. Gifts that once made my heart race now felt like stones in my stomach. I'll return every last one of them. I'm not keeping a single thing. As night fell, I heard the sound of a car engine at the manor gate. I looked down from the window. Xander was directing servants to unload huge wooden crates. Be careful. I just bought these at auction, he told Sadie, who was beside him. Calming herbs, blood jades, and ancient blessing runes, all top grade. Sadie's eyes turned red with emotion. Xander, You spent so much for me. As long as it's good for you and the pup, no price is too high. I watched it all, my heart a block of ice. She just said she was feeling uneasy, and he ran to a werewolf auction to buy her all these rare treasures. But when my wolf was in turmoil and I was in pain all night, he told me I was being dramatic. Regina, the door opened. Xander stood there, looking a little awkward. About Sadie. Pregnant omegas are very emotional. I have to take good care of her. Okay. I didn't look up, just kept packing. He froze, surprised by my calm reaction. Regina, you. He frowned. What are you packing? Nothing. Since she's moving in, I'm just moving some things to the side wing. I answered, my voice flat. The worry on Xander's face vanished, replaced by relief. Regina, I knew you were the most understanding Luna. Once she has the pup, I'll. Before he could finish his empty promise, Sadie's soft voice drifted up from downstairs. Xander, I feel a little dizzy. He turned instantly. You get some rest. I'll go check on her. A few minutes later, I heard their footsteps. They were heading towards the main wing, the Alpha's wing, our nest. I put down the jewelry box and walked to the window. I watched as Xander carefully guided Sadie down the hallway I'd walked 1,000 times. This time, without a fight from me, he handed our sacred nest over to another woman. I dragged my suitcase to the small suite in the side wing. This used to be my temporary home. I lived here for the 3 years before our mating ceremony. Back then, Xander would always say, just wait until our bedroom is finished. I'm going to give you the best of everything. His eyes were full of dreams. We'll make our pack the strongest. We'll be loving mates for life. Those promises sounded so ironic now. I remember the first night we moved into the main wing. The moonlight spilled through the floor to ceiling windows. Xander kissed the corner of my lips and whispered, Regina, you are my whole world. But everything changed after Ryan died. In my last life, on our mating anniversary, I waited for him at the restaurant for 3 hours in a custom-made gown. The waiter kept asking if he should serve the food. Xander finally rushed in, his clothes stained with Sadie's tears. I'm sorry, Regina. Sadie suddenly got a high fever. I couldn't just leave her. On the anniversary of my father's death, I stood at his grave all afternoon. Xander was supposed to be with me, but Sadie sprained her ankle, so he disappeared for the whole day. Thinking back, those weren't accidents. They were carefully laid traps. A sharp knock on the door pulled me from my thoughts. Sadie walked in, her belly leading the way. Her eyes scanned the small room with open contempt. Tiesk. Luna's room isn't even as big as the bathroom. In the main wing, she sneered. What do you want? I stared at her coldly. Just visiting my predecessor. Of course, Sadie said, stroking her belly. A smug smile painted her lips. This place will be a storage room soon, won't it? You're not welcome here, Sadie. Not welcome? She laughed out loud. Regina, you need to figure out your place. You're nothing but a Luna in name only. She stepped closer, her voice turning sharp. When my son is born, he will be the sole heir to this pack. And you'll have nothing. My wolf roared in my chest. Even though I'd decided to leave, I couldn't stand her arrogance. Get out, I said, word by word. Now, why should I listen to you? Sadie took a dramatic step back, her hand on the doorframe. I'm the mistress of this pack now. As she spoke, she suddenly lost her footing. I watched, my blood turning to ice, as she deliberately threw herself toward the stairs. Ah, help me. Her scream echoed through the manor. In a flash, Xander was there, his alpha power radiating off him in waves. He moved with terrifying speed, catching Sadie just before she could tumble down the stairs. Sadie, are you okay? His voice was filled with terror. It hurts. My stomach. Sadie sagged against him, tears rolling down her face like pearls. Xander slowly turned to me. The fury in his eyes made my heart stop. It was a look I'd never seen before. Cold, disappointed, and filled with deep disgust. Regina, how could you? His voice trembled, like he was holding back a tidal wave of rage. She's pregnant. How could you lay a hand on a pregnant woman? I didn't. It wasn't me, I managed to say. Not you? Xander roared, his alpha's aura crashing down on me. So you're saying Sadie threw herself down the stairs? I flinched back from his gaze. He had never looked at me like that in our past life, not even when he let me die in agony on the birthbed. Back then, his eyes still held a flicker of conflict. But now, there was only pure, damning anger. Regina, When did you become so vicious? Every word was a knife in my heart. He carefully lifted Sadie and strode toward the master bedroom. Someone, get the healer here now. I followed them, watching as he gently placed Sadie on our bed, the bed where we'd whispered promises in the dark. The healer rushed in, and after a careful examination, he let out a sigh of relief. She's just a little shaken up. The pup is healthy. She just needs a few days of rest. Xander was so relieved. He pulled out his phone, taking detailed notes of the healer's every word. What should we watch out for? Any foods she can eat? How often should we do a checkup? He asked so many questions, not even trying to hide the fact that he believed the pup in Sadie's womb was his. After the healer left, he personally walked him out, asking for more details on caring for a pregnant Omega. Once he was gone, Sadie slowly sat up, a triumphant look on her face. Xander's going to be a great father, don't you think? Her hand rested on her belly, a sly glint in her eyes. It was worth it, she purred, slipping that drug into his drink to make him think he's the father. What? My voice was barely a whisper. That pup, it isn't Xander's. Sadie realized what she'd said and quickly covered her mouth. Put just as quickly, she straightened her back, defiant. So what if you know? She sneered. It changes nothing. You should just be smart and leave. Why would you do that? My voice was shaking, from rage or shock. I couldn't tell. Sadie slowly got up from the bed, fixing her messy hair. Why? She scoffed. To survive, of course. Where was an Omega with a child supposed to go? Only an alpha like Xander can protect us. She said it so matter-of-factly, as if betrayal and deceit were the most natural things in the world. But it's not his child. I couldn't stop my voice from rising. So what? Sadie looked at me with a cold smile. Regina, do you really think he'd believe you? She walked over to the vanity and started touching up her makeup in the mirror. He feels so guilty about Ryan. He'll do anything to protect me, no matter what I say. Even if you tell him the truth, you think he'll believe you over me? My mouth opened, but no sound came out, because I knew she was right. It was the same in my last life. Even when I told Xander that Sadie had framed me, he chose to believe the weeping, pitiful woman. A wave of crushing sadness washed over me. My fated mate, for a child that wasn't his, for a venomous woman, he had hurt me. He had hurt our real child. The innocent life that died in agony inside my womb. Looks like you get it now, Sadie said, turning from the mirror with a smug look. Be smart, Regina. Get out of here. Or else. She stroked her belly, a cruel glint in her eyes. You'll regret it. I looked at her fake, twisted face, and the embers of my anger roared into a fire. If she wanted to play games, I'd play. Then I'll go tell Xander the truth right now, I said, with a cold smile. Let's see who he believes. The color drained from Sadie's face. You wouldn't dare. Why not? I walked toward the door. You said he wouldn't believe me. So what are you afraid of? Regina, don't push me. I reached for the doorknob. Just then, the door was pushed open from the outside. Xander walked in carrying a bowl of soup. Sadie, the healer said you need to drink more of this calming soup. Before he could finish, Sadie burst into tears. Xander, I don't want to stay here anymore. She threw herself at him, tears streaming down her face. Regina threatened me. She said she'd make sure my baby and I die. What? Xander's face changed. He quickly put down the soup to hold her. That's not what happened, I said immediately. Xander, the baby in her belly is because she drugged. Enough, Sadie shrieked. Regina, how far are you going to push me? She shoved Xander away, clutching her stomach. I've already lost everything. If I love this baby too, I can't go on living. Sadie, calm down. Xander scrambled to hold her. I don't want to live. Sadie lunged toward the wall as if to bash her head in. If Regina won't have me, then I'll just die with my baby. No. Xander grabbed her, his eyes wild with fear. Sadie, don't do anything stupid. He looked back at me, and the disappointment in his eyes was a physical blow. Regina, why can't you just give her a break? She lost her mate. She's already in so much pain. She's finally moving on. Xander, listen to me. The baby isn't yours. Regina, he cut me off, his voice sharper than I'd ever heard it. I don't want to hear another word of this. It's my duty to protect them. Every word was a hammer blow to my heart. I watched him hold Sadie so tightly, in the embrace that used to be only for me. My heart felt like it was being shredded. Without another word, I turned and left. I hadn't gone far before I heard his voice again. Regina, wait. I didn't stop. Regina. He caught up, grabbing my arm. I'm sorry, he said, his voice softer. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. I looked at him coldly. Let go of me. Let me explain, he pleaded. What happened with Sadie? It was a mistake. A rival pack drugged me during a territory dispute. That's how. He trailed off, unable to meet my eyes. His voice got smaller, as if even he knew how pathetic the excuse sounded. Regina, I'm just asking you to be patient with her. For a little while. I promise, after the baby is born, I'll send her away. His grip on my arm was tight, like he was afraid I'd run. Tomorrow, I'll take you to the best dress shop in the city. Our mating anniversary is in 7 days. I'll throw the biggest party. The light returned to his eyes. You'll wear a gown that puts our mating ceremony to shine. Regina, I'm going to make you the most dazzling Luna in the world. I just looked at him, a dull ache spreading through my chest. A promise like that used to make me dizzy with joy. But now, it was too late. Okay, I said, looking down. My voice was hollow. Xander let out a breath of relief and pulled me into a tight hug. Regina, I knew you were the kindest. We'll start over, I promise. I closed my eyes in his embrace, but my decision was already made. In 7 days, after the anniversary, our mate bond would be severed. He chose his lie. Now he could drown in it. I stood at the manor gate at the agreed upon time, wearing a simple cream-colored dress. If Xander said he would take me, then I would go. He owed me this. For all the anniversaries Sadie had ruined, this one deserved a grand finale. Soon, Xander walked out, but he wasn't alone. Sadie, she was clinging to his arm, her pregnant belly obvious in the sunlight. My heart sank to the floor. Xander, I thought we were. I'm sorry, Regina. He avoided my gaze, embarrassed. Sadie said she wanted to get some fresh air. The healer said it's good for pregnant omegas to go out. It's good for the pup. I looked at Sadie's triumphant smirk and took a deep breath. Then let's all go together. In the car, Sadie sat in the passenger seat, chattering away with Xander. Xander, do you think our pup will be strong like you? I'm so excited. I sat in the back, listening to them plan the future for a child that wasn't even his. My heart turned to ice. When we arrived at the city's top couture shop for werewolves, the owner rushed to greet us. He was the most famous gown maker in the territory, specializing in ceremonial dresses for alphas and lunas. Alpha Xander, Luna Regina, it is an honor to see you. Bring out your most magnificent gowns for my mate, Xander commanded. The owner bowed. Of course. Right this way. I was led to the VIP section, where dozens of handcrafted, breathtaking gowns were displayed. Each one was woven with ancient wolf runes and blessings. My eyes landed on a deep blue starlight gown. The skirt was embroidered with intricate constellations and silver thread, dotted with moonstones and sapphires that glittered like a night sky. It was a ceremonial gown designed for a Luna's coronation. This one is worthy of your station, the owner flattered. Every gem has been blessed by the moon goddess. I reached out and touched the soft silk. This dress represented the sacred duty of a Luna, everything I once dreamed of being. I'll try this one. Excellent choice, Luna. Right this way. Just as the owner was about to lead me to the fitting room, Sadie's voice cut in. Wow, that dress is so beautiful. She walked over, her eyes shining with greed. Regina, can I try it on? This is a Luna's ceremonial dress, I said, my grip tightening on the fabric. Not just anyone can wear it, but I just want to try it, Sadie said, looking pitifully at Xander. I've never worn such a gorgeous dress before. She stroked her belly. The pup wants to feel what it's like to be royalty, too. Xander walked over, his eyes apologetic and pleading. Regina, can you let Sadie try it? She's pregnant, and we need to keep her happy. It's good for the pup. I looked at them, and the last shred of hope inside me died. Of course, I said, letting go of the dress and handing it to Sadie. Take it. Xander breathed a sigh of relief. Regina, you're so understanding. I'll pick out something even better for you in a minute. Sadie took the dress, shooting me a victorious glance. Thank you, Regina. You're so generous. She walked toward the fitting room, with Xander following her every step. Watch the step. Go slowly. Do you need my help? Tell me immediately if you feel any discomfort. I sat on the silk sofa, watching them disappear behind the fitting room door. You destroyed my last hope with your own hands, I thought. I hope you don't regret it one day. A few minutes later, Sadie came out. She looked stunning in the starlight gown, but I knew she wasn't worthy of a Luna's sacred dress. How do I look? Sadie twirled, the moonstones flashing under the lights. Xander didn't say anything, but his look of approval said it all. Sadie blushed, looking down shyly. I'll take this one then. She deliberately walked toward a display area to show off the dress, and then she stumbled. Her body slammed into a massive metal display rack. The rack toppled with a crash, sending precious accessories scattering across the floor. In a domino effect, one rack fell into another. Finally, the giant crystal chandelier hanging from the ceiling began to sway violently. It was an ancient chandelier, forged from pure silver and embedded with countless moonstones, weighing hundreds of pounds. Crack! The silver chain holding it snapped. The massive chandelier began to fall, straight towards me. Xander, help me. I screamed his name in despair, but he was already a blur of motion, using his alpha speed to get to her. A fallen silver rack snagged my ankle, sending me sprawling. I could only watch helpless as the chandelier plummeted toward me. Crash! The sound was deafening. Crystal shards flew everywhere. Sharp pieces of silver pierced my arm, but the silver poisoning my veins was nothing compared to the agony of my heart ripping in two. I lay in the wreckage, my vision blurring with tears. He carried Sadie to safety without a single glance back. Blood seeped from my wounds, staining the floor red. I slowly closed my eyes as tears streamed freely down my face. When I woke up from unconsciousness, the smell of antiseptic in the pack infirmary stung my nose. A sharp, throbbing pain came from my arm. I slowly sat up, the bandages pulling at the raw skin. The room was empty. My legs were a little weak as I got out of bed, but soon, I heard a familiar voice from the hallway. Sadie, how are you feeling? Does it still hurt? It was Xander. I followed the sound to the next room. Through the half-open door, I saw a scene that broke my heart. Xander was sitting by the bed, holding Sadie's hand tightly. His eyes were filled with worry and pain. I thought I was going to lose you, he said, his voice trembling. Sadie leaned weakly against the pillows, her face a pale, pitiful mask. Xander, I was so scared. If something happened to me, what would happen to our baby? It won't, Xander soothed, stroking the back of her hand. I won't let anything harm either of you. 3 healers were crowded around the bed, meticulously examining every inch of Sadie's skin. Alpha, Omega Sadie only has some minor scrapes. Nothing serious. The fetal heartbeat is strong. The pup wasn't affected at all. She just needs a few days of rest. And me? I had silver shards in my arm and had blood all over the floor. All I got was a single nurse who hastily wrapped a bandage around the wound. They didn't even check for silver poisoning. I stood outside the door, the burning sensation from my wound growing stronger. The ache in my chest was so bad I couldn't watch anymore. I never knew a broken heart could literally hurt so much. It was hard to breathe. Ignoring the healer's protests, I pushed through the pain and checked myself out of the infirmary. Back in my suite, I continued packing, throwing away anything I wasn't taking. I only packed a few simple outfits and my identification. That was enough. Finally, I walked to the nightstand. A framed photo of us sat there, our first picture together, taken in front of the moon goddess falls. We were so happy then. Xander was holding me from behind, and my smile was as bright as the sun. Our wolves had merged under the moonlight. The goddess herself had witnessed our love. But now, everything was different. I carefully tore the photo in half. I put my half in my wallet. I crumpled Xander's half into a ball and tossed it in the trash. I remember 5 years ago, Xander held my hand and whispered in my ear, Regina, you're mine. You can only ever be by my side. But you were wrong, Xander. For the rest of my life, there will be no you in my world. After coaxing Sadie to finish her herbal soup and fall asleep, Xander finally remembered me. He walked to the next room, only to find a young healer changing the sheets. The bed I had been in was empty. There was nothing there. A cold dread washed over Xander. He grabbed the healer's arm. The patient in this room. Where is she? The healer gave him a strange look. Ifa. You mean the Luna? She left early this morning. What? Xander's knees grew. He immediately reached out to me through our mind link, but all he got was silence. A faint ache throbbed in his chest. He shot to his feet, his face dark and terrifying. After a long moment, he remembered to contact the manor's head of security. Where's the Luna? The guard was silent for a moment before his panicked voice came back. Alpha? The Luna. She's gone. She left the manor with a suitcase. Xander rushed down the hall, tearing out of the medical building's parking lot like a madman. The engine roared, ripping through the night. He blew through 5 packed checkpoints. There was only one thought in his head: Regina couldn't leave. They were fated mates, a bond blessed by the moon goddess. How could she just break it? Just like that? Tires screamed as Xander skidded through the manor gates. He didn't even park, just bolted straight for Regina's room. Reginald, he threw the door open. The room was empty. All the furniture was there, but every trace of her was gone. In the walk-in closet, the treasures he'd collected for her designer gowns, priceless jewels, were untouched. He took a deep breath. Her scent, moon-kissed roses, was so faint he could barely taste it on the air. But all of Regina's clothes were gone. No, this can't be happening. Xander collapsed onto the edge of the bed. His hands trembled as he searched for something. He remembered their photo on the nightstand, their first picture together, in front of the moon goddess falls. The photo was gone. He searched frantically. Finally, he found a crumpled ball of paper in the trash can. He smoothed it out. His heart stopped. The photo was torn in half. Her half was gone. All that was left was his own lonely, smiling face. Alpha, Alpha. Beta Marcus burst in. He froze, seeing his Alpha's shattered state. What happened? Find her. Xander's voice was a raw whisper. Use everyone. Find Regina now. Lock down the borders. Shut down every road, every station, every airfield. Yes, Alpha. Marcus scrambled to obey. Just then, Xander's phone rang. It was the medical wing. Alpha, Omega, Sadie is hysterical. She fell again. The healer's voice was panicked. She won't stop crying. She says she needs to see you. Xander squeezed his eyes shut, fighting back the despair. I'm on my way. Back in the medical wing, Sadie was on the bed, her face a mess of tears. The moment she saw Xander, she threw herself into his arms. Xander, you're finally back. I was so scared you'd leave me too. Calm down, Sadie. Xander patted her back mechanically. What did the healer say? I'm fine. It was just a panic attack. Sadie clung to him. Xander, let's not be apart again, okay? She looked up, her eyes swimming with tears. Regina's gone. It's just us now. We can give our cub a real family. I'll be the best Luna, the best mother. Xander shoved her away. A flash of disgust crossed his face. What are you talking about, Sadie? His voice was ice. I'm only keeping you safe because of my promise to Ryan. The position of Luna of the Black Moon Pack belongs to Regina. Only Regina. Pushed onto the bed, Sadie stared at him in disbelief. But she left. She abandoned you. She didn't abandon me. Xander turned to leave. I hurt her. Xander. Sadie suddenly let out a gut-wrenching sob. Ryan is dead. He's been dead for 3 years. Am I supposed to mourn a dead man for the rest of my life? I'm still young. I want to be happy. I want a man who actually loves me. After Xander left, Sadie was alone in the room. Her tears stopped instantly. The look of pain vanished from her face. In its place was cold, hard fury. Ha! Devoted? She sneered, wiping her eyes. What a fool. She pulled a burner phone from the nightstand, one he never knew existed. She dialed a number. Her voice turned sharp and cold. It's me. I need the schedule for Alpha Ethan of the Grey Wolf Pack tonight. A respectful voice answered. Miss Sadie. Alpha Ethan will be in the VIP lounge at the Moonshadow Club at 9 tonight. Perfect. Sadie hung up. A wicked smile touched her lips. If Xander was going to be so heartless, then she wouldn't play fair either. She stroked her belly, a glint of steel in her eyes. Little one, it's time for your real father to take some responsibility. Meanwhile, Xander was driving aimlessly through the pack's central city. Beta Marcus had everyone looking for Regina, but so far, there was nothing. It was like she had vanished from the face of the earth. The car radio played a song they used to love. Every note was a knife in his heart. As he passed the city's main commercial district, a familiar figure made him slarn on the brakes. It was Sadie. She was wearing a tight black dress, her pregnant belly on display as she walked into a private club. The Moonshadow Club, the most exclusive, high-end spot in the city. Isn't she supposed to be resting in the medical wing? Suspicion coiled in Xander's gut. He parked his car and followed her from a distance. The doorman clearly knew her, opening the door with a respectful bow. Xander waited a few minutes, then walked to the entrance. Sir, do you have a reservation? The doorman asked, blocking his way. Xander unleashed his alpha aura. The doorman trembled and immediately stepped aside, following the faint trace of Sadie's scent. Xander headed for the second-floor VIP area. The thick carpet silenced his footsteps. He stopped in front of the last door in the hall. He could hear Sadie's voice, and a man's voice he didn't recognize. Xander pressed his ear to the crack in the door, listening. Ethan, $500,000. Sadie's voice was firm. That's my final offer. 500,000? The man's voice was shocked. Sadie, are you insane? I'm not insane, Sadie sneered. That's your cub in my belly. It's your responsibility. I told you, that was a one-night mistake. The man's voice grew angry. I have a fated mate. I can't acknowledge this cub. Then I'll just go to your mate. I'll tell her you betrayed your bond. Sadie's threat was met with a brief silence. You think she'll believe you? Ethan scoffed. Of course she will, Sadie said smugly, because I have proof. The security footage from that night. The marks you left on me. You. Ethan's voice was choked with fury. Besides, Sadie continued, Xander thinks this cub is his right now. If he finds out the truth, finds out an Omega played him for a fool. Her laugh was pure venom. How do you think the Alpha of the Black Moon Pack will deal with someone who betrayed him? Outside, the world spun. Humiliation and rage ripped through him. His wolf howled, his hands clenched into fists, nails digging deep into his palms. He could taste blood. You bitch, Ethan roared. You dare threaten me. Threaten? Sadie laughed. I'm giving you a choice. Pay up, or I let everyone know what you did. Your pack, your mate, and Xander. Do you really think Xander will spare the Grey Wolf Pack when he finds out? Silence again. Finally, Ethan spoke through gritted teeth. I need time to get the money. 1 week, Sadie said coldly. I'll give you 1 week. After that, I'm going to the Black Moon Pack and telling Xander you forced me, that you got me pregnant against my will. Then money will be the least of your problems. Xander couldn't take it anymore. Rage erupted like a volcano in his chest. His eyes flashed wolf gold. Fangs extended from his gums. He kicked the door off its hinges. It slammed against the far wall. Xander stormed into the room, a nightmare of pure fury. Sadie and Ethan whipped around, the color draining from their faces. Xander. Sadie shot up from her chair in terror. Ethan tried to scramble for another exit, but Xander's alpha aura pinned him in place. Xander's voice was a low growl, ripped from the depths of hell. Say it again, he snarled. Is that cub mine? Facing Xander's furious golden eyes, Ethan's legs gave out. The crushing alpha presence made it hard to breathe. Xander, let me explain. Ethan held up his hands, his voice shaking. I'm a victim here too. A victim? Xander sneered, stalking closer. You just said it was your cub. No, Ethan shook his head frantically. I mean, this bitch threatened me. He pointed at Sadie, who was cowering in the corner. That bitch is trash. You have no idea. Even when she was with Ryan, she was sleeping with other alphas. I was just one of the unlucky ones. Sadie's face went white. Ethan, what are you talking about? What am I talking about? The threat of death made Ethan reckless. He was going all in. I have proof. He pulled his phone from his suit pocket and started swiping through photos. Look at this. Her and Alpha Derek from the Silver Moon Pack, and Alpha Kane from the Northern Ridge Pack. These were all taken when Ryan was still alive. Photo after photo flashed across the screen. Each one deepened Xander's rage. Sadie, half-dressed with different men, getting intimate in a bar. One photo even showed her kissing another alpha. She has no idea who the father of that cub is. Ethan kept talking. When she told me she was pregnant, I gave her $200,000 to get rid of it, but she took the money and didn't do it. She came to you and put on a show instead. Xander's fists clenched so tight his knuckles cracked. He thought he had been drugged by accident, that he and Sadie had made a mistake. It turned out he wasn't the only one who had been played. His dead best friend, Ryan, had been betrayed by this woman too. Ryan. He growled the name, his voice thick with pain. His best friend died without ever knowing what kind of person his mate truly was. Xander, listen to me. Sadie tried to explain. Shut up. In an instant, Xander's wolf erupted. He lunged forward, one hand clamping around Sadie's throat. He lifted her off the ground. You bitch. He snarled, his voice pure animal. You betrayed Ryan. You betrayed me. You deserve to die. Sadie's face turned purple. She clawed at his hand. I was wrong. Let me go. She choked out. Xander's grip tightened. Her struggles weakened. Just as she was about to pass out, he let go. Sadie hit the floor hard, coughing violently. Killing you myself would be a waste of my time, Xander said, looking down at her. It would stain my hands. Sadie knelt on the floor, hairs and snot running down her face. Xander, I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. She crawled toward his feet. The cub is innocent. You can raise him as your own. We can start over. I'll be the most obedient Omega. I'll do whatever you say. Just don't send me away. Xander was stunned by her shamelessness. This woman was still trying to use the cub in her womb? He suddenly laughed. A cold, bitter laugh. Sadie, you never cease to amaze me. He crouched down to her level. Do you really think I'll ever believe another word you say? Marcus, he yelled. Several Black Moon guards burst into the room. Marcus was in the lead. He saw the scene and understood immediately. Your orders, Alpha. Banish her from the Black Moon territory, Xander said, his voice frigid. She is never to set foot here again. And contact the Red Fox Pack. Tell them to take her back and deal with her. If they don't, the Black Moon Pack will bleed them dry. Marcus nodded. Understood, Alpha. The guards grabbed Sadie's arms. No. Sadie shrieked in terror. Xander, you can't do this to me. I'm carrying a cub. It's not my cub. Xander turned his back on her. Take her away. Sadie was dragged toward the door, fighting wildly. Don't send me back to the Red Fox Pack, please. If my father finds out I caused this much trouble for the pack, he'll kill me. He's 1,000 times more of a monster than you are. Her cries echoed down the hall. Her words were a poisoned barb, sinking deep. A monster 1,000 times worse than you. For a split second, his stride faltered, but he didn't turn back. Ethan tried to slip away in the chaos, but Marcus grabbed him. Leaving so soon, Alpha of the Grey Wolf Pack. Marcus sneered. Our Alpha isn't finished with you yet. 2 weeks later, Snowfall Town, in the Northern Territories. Morning sun streamed through the large window of the small flower shop. Regina was arranging fresh-cut flowers. This place was far from the chaos of the packs. There were only mountains, lakes, and the purest air. Her mate bond had been broken for a week. On the night of the full moon, when the familiar warmth of Xander's mark on her chest finally went cold and vanished, she cried, not from sadness, but from relief. The feeling of being finally free, like a massive weight had been lifted. Jingle. The bell on the door rang. A tall figure stepped into the shop. The man cradled a snow wolf cub drenched in blood. Panic swam in his eyes. Please, can you help him? Regina put down her flowers and rushed over. The man had deep blue eyes and brown hair that shined in the sun. He had the wild, free scent of a lone wolf. What happened? She asked, gently stroking the cub's head. I found him in the mountains. His leg is caught in a hunter's trap, the man said, his voice low and magnetic. The town vet is out for the day. Regina carefully examined the wound, then pulled out her medical kit. I have some training as a healer. Let me try. The man breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you. I'm Liam. Regina. She focused on cleaning and bandagging the wound. Liam watched her quietly, his eyes full of admiration. He'll be okay, Regina said, stroking the cub's head. But he'll need a lot of care. Can I leave him here with you? Liam asked. I'll pay you. Regina looked into the cub's innocent eyes. Her heart melted. No money needed. But this isn't a professional recovery center. You already saved his life. That's more than enough. From that day on, Liam came to the flower shop every day. He said it was to check on the wolf cub, but really, he was helping Regina. He fixed the broken flower stands. He carried the heavy pots. He even started learning how to arrange flowers. You don't have to come every day, Regina said. Max is much better. Max was the name she had given the cub. But I like coming here, Liam said, looking straight into her eyes. It's peaceful here, calming. He paused. And I like being with you. Regina's cheeks flushed. After leaving Xander, she thought she'd never have feelings for another man. But Liam was different. He was gentle, patient. He didn't ask about her past. He just showed up. He proved his worth with his actions, not his words. Regina. One evening, Liam suddenly took her hand. Be with me. I know you've been hurt. I won't push you to do anything you don't want to. I just want to protect you, to take care of you. Regina looked into his sincere eyes. A warmth spread through her chest. Maybe she really could start over. Meanwhile, 1,000 miles away at the Black Moon Manor, Xander was lying on his study floor, surrounded by empty liquor bottles. The broken mate bond was agony. It felt like a gaping hole in his chest. Every breath was torture. Alpha, we found her. Marcus came in. Regina is in Snowfall Town in the north. She opened a flower shop. Xander shot up, Hope flared in his eyes. Get the airship ready. I'm going north. Now. But Alpha, your body. I'm fine. Xander stood up, swaying. I'm going to bring her back. Just then, Marcus's expression grew tense. Alpha, there's something else. While escorting Sadie to the Red Fox border, she used a hidden silver blade to wound the guards and escape. Our men are tracking her. But before he could finish, the main doors were thrown open. A disheveled figure stumbled inside. It was Sadie. Her hair was a mess, her face streaked with tears, her clothes torn. Xander, she ran toward him. Please, save me. Xander backed away in disgust. Get out. My father threw me out. Sadie cried. Ethan's pack sent enforcers. They made me get rid of the cub. I have nothing now. You're the only one who can save me. You brought this on yourself. Xander said coldly. Marcus, throw her out. No. Sadie struggled wildly. Xander, you can't do this to me. I only did it because I love. You don't know the first thing about love. Xander cut her off. Get out. Guards moved in to drag Sadie away. As they pulled her toward the door, her crying suddenly stopped. She started to laugh, a sharp, piercing laugh, full of venom and curses. Ha ha ha. Xander, you deserve to lose your Luna. She's never coming back. You're going to die alone, just like me. Her laughter echoed into the night, chilling him to the bone. Xander stood frozen, his fists clenched. No, he wouldn't let Sadie's curse come true. He was going to find Regina. He was going to bring her back, no matter the cost. 1 month later, Regina had moved into Liam's small cabin at the foot of the mountains. It was surrounded by pine trees. Every morning, she woke to the sound of birds singing. Good morning. Liam kissed her forehead, handing her a hot cup of coffee. Regina snuggled into his arms, feeling safe for the first time in a long time. Farmer's market today, she asked. Of course. You said you wanted fresh blueberries. Liam smiled. Whatever my Regina wants, she gets. Max, his leg fully healed, wagged his tail at their feet. This simple happiness was something Regina had never known. That afternoon, they walked hand in hand through the market. Stalls overflowed with fresh fruits and vegetables. The air smelled of herbs. These blueberries are very sweet, a vendor called out. Regina was about to reach for them when a large hand shot out from behind her, clamping around her wrist. Regina. The familiar voice made her entire body go stiff. She turned slowly. She saw the face she had both longed for and hated. Xander. He looked like hell, unshaven, hollow-eyed, and reeking of whiskey. But those golden eyes still burned for her. What are you doing here? Regina tried to pull her wrist free, but his grip was iron. I've been looking for you for a long time, Xander said, his voice hoarse. Regina, come home with me. Let her go. Liam rushed over, trying to pry Xander's fingers open. But Xander's alpha blood made him a beast. Get lost, he snarled, a dangerous gold light in his eyes. She's mine. How could you? He snarled, pulling her against him. How could you let another male touch you? Our bond. We don't have a bond anymore. Regina shoved at him. Have you forgotten? You chose Sadie. That was a misunderstanding. Xander held her tight. Regina, let me explain. Enough. Liam's fist connected hard with Xander's jaw. The force of the blow sent the legendary alpha of the Black Moon pack stumbling back. Liam quickly pulled a shaken Regina behind him. You bastard, he growled, staring Xander down. Stay away from her. Xander wiped the blood from his lip. His eyes burned with rage. His wolf was clawing at the surface, ready to shift. But when he saw the terror in Regina's eyes, he forced it back down. Regina. His voice dropped, thick with pain. Please, give me a chance. I know everything, he pleaded. Sadie's lies. She played me. She played everyone. The cub was never mine. It wasn't even Ryan's. Regina froze. What? Sadie betrayed Ryan. She was with a lot of alphas. Xander's eyes were full of regret. She used my guilt over Ryan to deceive me. I banished her from the Black Moon pack. Her own pack abandoned her. She has nothing now. That's the price of her betrayal. Regina's heart hammered in her chest. So, it was all a lie. But why tell her now? It's too late, Xander, she said coldly. I don't care anymore. No. Xander suddenly dropped to his knees, abandoning all his alpha pride. Regina, I was wrong. Please, forgive me. I almost lost the most important thing in the world. A crowd was starting to gather, whispering. But Xander didn't care about his pride. He just wanted his Regina back. Get up, Liam stared at him with fury. You think saying sorry now fixes anything? You broke her, and now you think you can just come back? Xander knelt on the ground, silent tears rolling down his face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, he repeated over and over. Regina, I'm filth, he choked out, tears streaming down his face. I don't deserve you. But please, just give me one chance to prove I've changed. Can you come back to me? I looked at Xander kneeling on the ground. I felt nothing. Once, a single look from him could make my heart race. A single word could decide my happiness. Now, all I felt was a deep, deep exhaustion. Xander, my voice was as calm as still water. A broken mirror can be glued back together, but the cracks will always be there. Our mate bond is broken. This is for the best. No. Xander shot to his feet, his eyes wild with desperation. Regina, we can still have a chance. We can start over. I'll spend my whole life making it up to you. He reached for me. Liam blocked his path. She gave you her answer, Liam said coldly. Leave. Who the hell are you? Xander's control finally snapped. Regina is my fated mate. She will always belong to me. He lunged, trying to grab me. A sharp snap echoed in the air. With one clean, brutal move, Liam twisted Xander's wrist. The alpha's arm now bent at an angle that wasn't humanly possible. Arg. Xander's face went white with pain. Cold sweat beaded on his forehead. She doesn't belong to anyone, Liam said, his grip tight on Xander's dislocated wrist. His voice was ice. Especially not a monster who put her through hell. Do you know what her last few months have been like? She wakes up screaming from nightmares every night. Nightmares of being on a birthing bed, begging you to save her while you just watch her die. She needs expensive potions just to sleep. She needs a mind healer just to get through the day. The healer said her very soul, her wolf, is cracked from the trauma. That's what you did. Every word was a hammer blow to Xander's heart. His face was ghostly pale. His body swayed. I didn't know. His voice trembled. Regina, I didn't know I hurt you that badly. It's too late for you to know now, I said, turning away. Liam, let's go. Xander tried to follow, but the pain from his wrist made him stumble. He could only watch as Liam and I disappeared into the crowd. After that day, Liam and I immediately made plans to leave. We sold the flower shop in a single afternoon. The cabin was next. We didn't care about the price. We just needed to be gone. Within 3 days, we had packed everything. Where to? Liam asked me, holding the keys to our camper van. Anywhere, I said, as long as it's far away from here. We started our journey across the northern lands in the camper. We drove through the majestic Spineback Mountains. We watched sunrises and sunsets at the edge of the Crimson Abyss. We camped under the stars in the Redwood Canyons. We left our footprints everywhere, and every day, I became more certain. This was the life I wanted. Free, calm, unbound. 2 months later, in a small town in the Red Rock Territories, the night sky was full of stars. Liam held my hand as we walked by the lake. Regina, he stopped suddenly, pulling a small box from his pocket. It's not an expensive diamond, he said, a little nervous, but it's the best promise I can give you. I carved it myself from a piece of moonstone using a claw from my first shift. Inside the box was a simple moonstone ring. No complicated design, no dazzling sparkle, but under the moonlight, it gave off a soft, gentle glow, just like Liam's love for me. Marry me, Regina, he said, dropping to one knee. His eyes were full of sincerity. I promise to love you and protect you with my life. For richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, I will always be by your side. Tears streamed down my face, but this time, they were tears of joy. Yes, I said, holding out my hand for him to put the ring on my finger. I will. A week later, under the full moon, we held our own private bonding ceremony in a clearing we'd found. No crowd, no expensive gowns, just the two of us, and the moon goddess above as our witness. We stood barefoot on the soft grass. Liam held my hands, his eyes shining in the moonlight. I, Liam, swear before the moon goddess to share my life, my strength, and my wolf's soul with Regina. From this day forward, your joy is my joy, your pain is my burden. I will be forever loyal, and I will protect you until my heart stops beating. Through my tears, I responded, I, Regina, accept your vow. I will leave my shattered past in ashes and join with you as one soul. Your path is my path. I will share every sunrise and every sunset with you forever. As the vows ended, Liam lowered his head. His fangs sank gently into my neck, leaving his mark, an eternal mark. A warm, powerful energy flooded into me. It filled the cracks and the emptiness Xander had left in my wolf's soul. In that moment, I felt whole. I felt at peace. That night, we spent our first night as mates in the camper. Our scents and souls mingled in the small space. Liam made love to me gently. There was no fierce possession, only pure love and reverence for his mate. "I love you, Regina," he whispered in my ear. My mate. The next morning, I was scrolling through my phone out of habit. A news headline caught my eye. Alpha Xander of the Black Moon Pack has been deposed. Broken by the loss of his fated mate, he was defeated in a ritual challenge. Now in exile, the former Alpha roams the wilds as a rogue, his whereabouts unknown. I calmly turned off my phone. I felt nothing at all. "What is it?" Liam asked, concerned. "Nothing important," I said, taking his hand. "Where are we going today?" "I heard the boiling springs are beautiful." He smiled. "Want to go see them?" "I'd love that." The camper started up again, heading toward our next destination. As for Xander, I didn't think about him at all. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting stories.